will start, so we can do.
Yeah. First thing I'd like to ask is about the fact that this album seems a lot tied up with these times. Especially the lyrics are touching different topics that are very up to date, let's say that. And was it a choice that you made at the beginning of the creative process, or is anything that comes with by accident in a way?
I don't want to say by accident. I mean, there was a lot of during the whole Corona stuff. You know, there was like, for example, like isolation. When it's like what happened was at the Corona time. You know, you feel really like isolated.
Yeah.
No contacts, no stuff like that. You know, and for the other one, it's like fight for your right. It's like what's going on still at the moment. You know.
Yes.
And yeah, there are a lot of things, like also, I think there's a lot of political stuff going on there.
Yeah, but to be honest, you know, like it's not only that, we also kind of lived through that. For example, the second song, which is The Flood, right? Sven had this situation going on himself personally. You know, like I also had some crazy stuff going on in my private life, so it's all connected to us, like at some point, you know, it's not only stuff which we took from the magazines or newspapers, right?
No, I mean, we always try to create lyrics which are taken out of the real life, you know, to get connected to the people. And I think there's also quite a lot of lyrics where people can interpret what they feel at the moment. So, and that's what's important to me, at least. I don't want to write about fiction,
dragons,
stuff like that. You
dragons
know,
and demons or whatever.
because when I listen to music, what I want to have is a connection to it. And when I listen to lyrics, it's okay, they're gonna touch me or they don't touch me. And in this case, you know, I try to give the people what I try to, you know, get from music that I listen to personally. So,
and I think it's also like to show something, you know, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff like, you know, the rich people, they're getting richer, and, you know, they don't care about poor people, you know, they care.
Yeah, I mean, it's drastically like driving apart from each other. That's what's happening. And we try to catch these topics which affect all of us, I guess.
Yes, exactly. That's the key thing for sure.
I was also meaning that, you know, the tone of the songs are quite harmonic with the lyrics. That's the reason I asked the question, because of course the darker the song and the stronger are the lyrics, you know.
But that's actually something that happens within the process. So when we hear a riff and we sit down and think about, okay, what because we don't write the lyrics and then there's a song. It's the other way around. So we listen to the music and then we write the lyrics. And a certain riff or a certain, I don't know, harmonic puts you into a certain mood. And then you start thinking, okay, what topics do we have that we want to, you know, write about? And then, this mood's leading you to a certain topic, and then it's all a natural process in the end. So, and if that's not happening, it's not right. That's the thing.
Then the song is not an album.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's really like that. I mean, you start writing lyrics and then you get stuck at line number 2 because you don't know where it leads you to, and then the mood is not right. And yeah, it has to be.
It had to fit together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, lyrics and the music, definitely.
Great album, congratulations. I enjoyed it very, very much. And this is Joseph Freitas from Heavy Rock magazine from Spain, Barcelona. And I surprised the song because the song is classic but actual. But I surprised too much for one of your, in my opinion, one of your great points are the ballads. And you don't have a ballad in this album. Why?
There was not a right ballad. It was like, so sometimes, you know, if we do a ballad, then it has to be the right one. But this time there was nothing really.
We had some ideas and we,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
we
but it was
tried
not
it,
really
but,
like,
you know.
and then don't do it, you know.
Yeah.
So on the next one, maybe.
Maybe.
You never know.
Ballad album.
Yeah, ballad album, yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, I mean, now, you know that we now have Peter Baltus in the band. And I think definitely there will be a ballad on the next album. Maybe we do something together, you know. I mean, I would love to do also a song again together with Peter, singing wise, you know. But I think we will see. But at this time, yeah, no, there was no ballad really like what we said, we want to do that, you know, no. And then don't do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. When looking at the cover, we see it's a bluish, of course, and it's kind of representing what you are singing about, which is not the good state of the world, let's say. But how did you exactly come to this picture?
I mean, yeah, it's like the title of the album, Touchdown, not Thunderbolt. And Touchdown is like the football thing, you know, and then we was coming up with this idea, you know, to put football on the, you know, so yeah.
I'm not a football fan, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, but it's, you know, at the moment it's very interesting, getting really popular also especially in Germany and also in Europe, you know, people getting more and more into that. And it was really funny when we was somewhere in South America, we were sitting at the sport bar, and then there was a football game going on, and there was like something like, that can be very interesting.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea, you know. And yeah, so I mean, also the football game is like, when you listen to the album, I think it's like also aggressive, powerful, you know, a lot of things, and that's why we said, okay, that's a perfect title for this Touchdown, you know. So, and we make a touchdown. You know, so, and that's
like,
that here.
like the Mannschaft.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Why the name of your NFL team is Crocodiles?
They help us a lot with, I mean, you don't see any pictures? No. Is the pictures?
No, I mean, it was in the background, so,
I
mean,
So, I mean, we are looking like a football team now, you know, it's like they was helping us with the clothes. Yeah, so that's the Cologne Crocodiles, his hometown.
Exactly, but I'm not, you know, particularly a fan of that team, but it was great to get in touch with people who can tell you something from the inside of that sport, actually, and we got very interested in that. I mean, usually I'm a football guy, but in Germany we call football, so soccer.
Yeah.
But as he said, it gets more and more popular, so you sit down and watch TV, and then you get to see more and more football games, and yeah, it's a really interesting sport in the end, and then to get to know these guys from the Cologne Crocodiles was something that was really cool, because, I mean, we had the title before we went to them and said, do you think it would be possible to get the tricots and stuff, because, you know, we want to do photos in that dress, and yeah, it was cool that they helped us out, and there might be a collaboration coming up with them, that we maybe play for one of their, you know, games and stuff like that in the stadium. That would be cool. So we are talking to them, and who knows what's coming up. I mean,
Maybe writing their introduction song.
exactly. Yeah.
Like
So,
wrestling, for example.
because yeah, as he said, it fits together quite perfectly, I think. Metal
And also
and football.
the song Touchdown came very late, right?
Yeah, it came late. Yeah,
Came very late. But also the lyrics is about the whole game, you know. It's like helmet to helmet, like when you go like really like aggressive, powerful, you know. And that I think that's the meaning of the whole album, you know. I think it's a straightforward album, you know. It's nothing like, oh, dance music or whatever. They're really like, yes.
And it always refers to what we do before stage, right? Because when we go on stage, we, you know, have that ritual that we, you know, fist bump each other and say, ooh, let's get them, you know, and
that's the thing what also game doing, you know, so what the whole game doing. So, I mean, I think for us, everything with this album, all the title, the cover, and all everything together makes sense, you know. It's like, in a way, can we say concept?
not really, no.
Not really, but a little bit of it, you know.
Yeah, on the way to be.
Yeah.
You talked about the Peter's addition to the band. What was his input in this new album? Did he add space to express himself?
I think so. I mean, of course, he wasn't really involved in the songwriting process because we've been working on that album since
Yeah.
a long time. I mean, we had time. It was Corona, so we don't know. But I mean, Peter joined us during the running tour last year, so of course he wasn't really involved in the songwriting process, which is something I look really forward to in the next album to work together with him. But I mean, I personally think that you can totally hear his tone on the album, because when you sit down and record the bass, it's not only that he follows, you know, record this and this and this part. I mean, it's obvious that he puts his energy and his, you know, musical thinking into these songs and comes up with, oh, maybe I can do this and this and this. So I can totally hear him playing on this album. So I'm even more excited on how it's going to work out with the songwriting with him.
For the ballads.
For the ballads, exactly, the ballads.
Everybody's ready for ballads. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea. I'm getting older, you know. It's more easy going.
The next album, instead of Touchdown, can be, you know, entitled Touch Too Much.
Touch too much.
Touch too much. No, but I think, you know, it's like, it's also in a way a funny story how Peter now joined the band, you know. I mean, of course, we was working with Peter already on the, what's that album? We Are One album. And so I did it with Dirkschneider and the old gang, you know. We was already, getting closer and closer. And then, of course, when we had this problem with our bass player Thielen, so that was the first, in a way, the first idea, who can help us out on the tour, you know. And then I said, okay, call Peter. And he was, I don't know, he was saying directly yes. You know, I was not really sure that he's doing that, but he said yes. And then he was doing the tour with us, and then, of course, we was talking about what in South America.
Yeah.
We was talking about, you know, now we have to look for a new bass player. Thielen said he doesn't want to do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then Peter was sitting on the table, he was like, maybe I would have to join the band.
Well, he was saying, give me 5 minutes, I will call my wife and then I will be back down. And he was back down in 2 minutes and said, I'm going to do it. And we were sitting there because everyone was very surprised actually. Because,
it was.
I mean, the chemistry and the energy that we created throughout these only few weeks that we had together on stage, and that was perfect. So we said, why don't we just give it a try and ask him if he would join? And but we weren't expecting a fast answer like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm very thankful that he did help us out, because for him it was a set list of what, 24 songs?
Yeah, something like that.
And I called him when we were in Munich and I said, Peter, can you be in Berlin on Thursday? And he said, what? And I said, yeah, and you have to bring 24 songs with
2
you.
days, right?
Exactly. So he managed to learn the set within 2 days, fly from America to Germany, and then play the first song or the first show with us. And in the meanwhile, these guys were working their ass off to give him the right bass tracks to learn, you know. And so it was quite challenging for us, because I mean, after Corona, you hit the road. And then it was show number 2, and you run into a situation like that, which wasn't funny at all.
No,
that
definitely
Dylan
not.
collapsed on stage, and you're thinking like, what do we do now? Like, it's the first tour within 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So how should we manage the situation that we can continue? Because yeah, after Corona, I mean, it hit everyone, I guess, equally within the music industry. So yeah, I'm very thankful that Peter came over and played.
Let's call it destiny.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. It was for sure.
Yeah, for me personally, of course, it's something different to play with my old bandmate of Exact, you know. But you know, I don't know. I mean, the whole chemistry at the moment with how the band is now with Peter together. This is, I don't know. It's crazy, you know, in a good way. You know, it's really like he's really into that, and yeah, what can I say? I'm really looking forward. You know, yeah, I really want to win the next album, blah, 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 blah. And I know that will be a great one. Definitely.
Too bad he has to divorce from his wife.
Who?
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, because
I mean, I know Peter's wife. I mean, she was also, I know that she was saying, okay, maybe it's good to go on the road again. You know, sitting home and go on the nerves of his wife, maybe also. No, but I think, you know, he's a musician. I know Peter. I mean, of course, I know him for a long time. He's a really musician. You know, he's really into that, and now he's feeling really comfortable. You know, and he said to me, "This is so much fun," and yeah, so I'm happy. Maybe somebody's not happy, but anyway. And yeah, I mean, for us, it's, can say the best thing what we have. And yeah, here we go.
Did you intend Touchdown to be such an energetic and in-your-face album, or when you started to write it, or was it something that the young blood or the new blood has brought to the fold?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that this came from, you know, the younger department in the band. That's for sure.
Younger guitar.
But
Six-string
I
guitar.
exactly. But I think it also came during the time that we've been, you know, put into. Like, you sit home, you can't work, no concerts, you get fucking angry. You know, it's like, and then you put out your energetic, because before, like, we were in a different writing situation. It was more, and I think you can hear that with Game Over, it was more laid back and, you know, great, you know, blah, blah, blah. But with this album, it was more like, oh, fuck that shit, you know, we want to go out and tour, we want to hit the faces of these people, you know, and give them the music that we like. So that's what, you know, what happened.
So frustration
Like,
fueled the fire a bit.
yeah, and a bit of aggression, of course,
Yeah,
because
anger,
frustration
Of course.
turned into maybe sometimes positive lyrics. You know, it's not necessarily like that we are angry on this album, but you can feel that and hear that when it comes to the music.
Also hunger. This is really important, you know, because if you're sitting for like home for literally like 2 years in a
Yeah.
row, right? I remember like we were calling each other and like saying like, hey, that's, you know, like it feels so kind of unusual because we used to play nearly every weekend, right? Or something like that. And if you sit home and if you just, me myself being a guitarist, I had like, I don't know, 20 guitars there. I didn't want to touch them at some point, you know, because for what? We cannot tour, we cannot play any music. And then, you know, of course it's growing, and then it's like, fuck that. I just want to do that. You know, you're taking guitar and you start to play something. And of course it turned to be not a ballad for sure, right?
Exactly, yeah.
As our
Yeah.
friend said, you know, about the you're expecting a little bit of a ballad or melody or something to hit you at some point, and it just didn't. You know, the whole thing was for the throat, all the way through, from
Yeah.
start to finish. You know,
Yes, yes.
and I got asked earlier by a couple of people, you know, what's your favourite song, which was best? And I say it's difficult to say at the moment because the album does literally grab you. So.
And that's something that in a way, it's like with all this bullshit that we went through, or all the musicians and the event industry went through, is actually a good turnout, because it just gave us new energy to write music. Like he said, you know, you're sitting there, it's like, yeah, I got the drums there, but do I want to play it? Because it gets me all frustrated, because then I want to go out and play for people, and I won't do that for who knows how long.
Exactly, like, but for metal music it's really important to be, you know, like hungry and angry, you know what I mean? So because it's just like, it's based on that actually, you know, like if you do metal, you cannot be like, okay, I'm satisfied, I have enough money, you know, I have, I don't know, enough food at home or whatever, you know, I'm pretty happy, my blah blah blah. You should be angry, you know, seriously. If you do metal music, you should be angry. You should kind of, okay, alright, I want to kick their ass, I want to do that. And that's why we kind of came up with this record, you know.
There were also, for me, it's also like, I'm the oldest guy, I think, in the band. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. But for me, it's interesting, you know, what kind of thing we have now in the band. You know, we have young people, like my son, okay, getting nearly 30. Fabian, the second guitar player, he's also 30, 31 or whatever.
31, yeah.
So, and then Andrey, also still young, I think, yeah.
Forever young.
Yeah,
Nearly
forever
40, right.
yeah. So, but you know, this is like also a different generation. They listen to different kind of music, and I think, let's say the basic what we have on this album is like it's melodies, but also aggressive, different arrangements what we have, sometimes more modern, and you know, and that for me is also like very interesting. You know, I'm always open-minded. You know, I mean, sometimes Sven was coming up. Oh, maybe you can sing like this and this, and I'm like, what? You know, yeah, but I mean, if you are open-minded, then for me it's also like, aha, okay, can be interesting, and that keeps you going on. You know, and I think that. In my opinion, with UDO, we never have the same albums, you know, it was always different.
Yeah.
And also now with this one, there was some modern arrangements, a little bit different here and there, and that's also for me very interesting. It keeps me also young. Yeah, but I mean, you know, that means, aha, this is not the end, you know. Some bands they're coming up with albums like from the 80s, you know, it's like always like, oh come on baby, can you do something new? It's always the same thing, you know. And this one here now is something. The chemistry is yeah, very interesting also for me, you know. So I'm like, aha, okay, yeah, why not? Let's do it this day in this way, and that I think it's also a good thing for me. Personally, you know, and that keeps for me the whole thing also interesting. So maybe I don't know, maybe for another 10 years. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's a kind of funny thing because, for example, I came from like modern metal scene, you know, and I was kind of sometimes not sure if I need to send something modern metal related to Udo to listen to, you know, and this time actually. Partly I did, for example, like song number 8, Betrayer, was kind of, we call it kind of Sleep Note or something like that, right?
Yeah.
The song. And actually he was like, oh, that's a cool one, I want to sing on that, you know? And I mean, it's like drop C tuning, it's really modern, you know? It's like really modern and heavy song. And he was singing on that, and it became kind of part of his legacy, you know, all of a sudden, like boom, and it worked for the record, you know. And I just want to say we don't have any boundaries. We don't think about kind of, you know, things that we cannot do or something like that. We just, if you like the idea, we just work on that.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it automatically turns into UDO's song.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the thing. I mean, as soon as he starts screaming,
yes,
it's like, okay, there you go. Yeah.
Who's the most open-minded in the band, the younger guys or the older guys?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I guess it's 50-50,
It's
right?
50-50. No, I mean, it's a good process because, like he said, you know, when I sent him into the cabin, you know, and say, go and do something, he comes up with ideas where I sit there like, fuck, I would never ever, I was like never ever thinking about stuff like
And
that.
it's like a
singing
Yeah,
parts,
yeah.
you know? And then he comes out and he asks like, how was it? And I was like, yeah, that's super cool, but I would never ever think about stuff like that. And then when I go in and sing something for him that maybe would fit his voice, he goes in and is like, "Are you fucking crazy? I can't do that shit." And then he comes out and it's like, "Oh, it actually works," you know. And that's what I mean with then it becomes a UDO song, because as soon as he's feeling comfortable with it, everyone else knows, okay, we should concentrate on this kind of song and working on it, you know. There are so many ideas that we just go through, and it's like he tries or we try, and it's like, no, not the right thing, you know, just. And then there comes that song like Betrayer. I was hearing it's like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, try it out. And I was like, and he said, I want to try it. And that's so cool about him, because he's open-minded and he tries out new things, even though, you know, he's from the older generation. And
Really?
Be careful what you're saying, I'm not
no, that's appreciated in my case. So that's so cool to work with him, because he's not like, no, I won't do this, or I won't do this, or I did it back in the 80s, I did it like this, so I want to do it like that. No, definitely the opposite. And yeah, I really appreciate that in the way of work that we put together.
Well, it's worked, you know, definitely, because as I said earlier to Barbara, you know, it's a real classic sound to it, you know, but it's been executed in a really modern way, you know, so it's got nostalgia there,
Yeah.
but it's new, not new, I don't want to say new school, but it's
That was a goal, you know, at least I guess for us, right, for younger generation.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been here like for 10 plus, you know, years. And in the beginning I was kind of, you know, let's say shy to come up with something extremely like extraordinary, right? Because as a fan of Accept, a fan of old UDO records, I was always like, all right, maybe this idea is going to work, on this not, you know. And now I don't do that at all, you know, because now I just, if I have some music, I just show it to him, that's it, you know. It's really easy. And my goal is to have this band kind of going on like the way you used to hear that, right?
Yeah.
But with some modern influence, you know, like from our side, right? Because we're listening to different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Also not really, sometimes not even rock
Close to
or
it, yeah,
metal
exactly.
related, you know, it can be some, I don't know, dance music or something like that, pop or whatever. But the thing is, if Udo likes the idea, if he can go crazy with that,
Yeah.
if it if it sounds good enough for us, makes us inspired, right? Then we just try it out. That's
Yeah.
it.
I think it's for me the most important thing is that you are open-minded with music, you know, not like that did what I did for 40 years. I don't want to change anything. No, that for me it's like to be really open-minded. I always was open-minded, you know, with a lot of things. I mean, I was working with so many musicians, or also with UDO, we had a lot of changes, you know. And I always like, yeah, you know, I'm always like, okay, yeah, very interesting. You know, for me, for myself, to see how far I can go with my vocals, you know, with my voice. I mean, for me, the good example, okay, I mean, it's a different thing, but when I did this cover album, I mean, I was like making like a spectrum. It was, I mean, for me, it was like, yeah, I can do that, you know, and it's also like, it was helping me also to see, can I go this, like this, the range, this is also very interesting, is my range going wider, you know. It's like, I mean, I didn't expect this, you know. I mean, it's like an old wine, you know. Maybe getting the taste getting much better. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like with my voice now, I can do so many different stuff. I mean, that is also a miracle for me, for myself, you know. It's like 20 or 25 years ago, to sing some songs was not really like, what? But now, I mean, it's easy, you know, for me, like, to do some also different stuff. And yeah, it's good to see. That means, for me, yeah, I see we can do a lot of different stuff also in the future.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
Plus, it's good that we keep this kind of line-up going on for, I mean, I don't know how many years already, right? I mean, we know each other perfectly, not only from that side, right? We also friends, you know, and it's really important to talk to each other. For example, we kind of know what Udo likes, he knows what we like, and we always try to find some kind of compromise without even talking about that, you know?
yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So it's mostly about relationship. It has nothing to do like music or something like that. It's just the way how we treat each other, the way how we understand each other, you know, because it can be, sometimes you just don't even talk about, most of the times we don't talk about music at all, right? Because music, it's like a natural thing for us, right? We would love to know each other from different sides, you know, like to know what's going on in the private life, and then of course it gets connected to our lyrics and our music also, right?
So if you're not working on the relationships, you've got more time to work on the music, I suppose.
Well, that's a hard one, yeah. No, but you know, like the thing what I wanted to say, like our relationship is affecting our music relationship, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, we are together now in a way 11, nearly 12 years. I mean, so, and also the Sven now with 2015.
Yep.
So in a way, sitting here, three people there are already for a long, long time together. I mean, we know each other longer. But you know, it's like, and also now with Fabian, the second guitar player, he's also, I mean, this is, I don't know, a miracle with this guy.
Yeah, we're just all
you know?
different.
This is
That's
like,
the thing. You know, we're just all completely different.
Yeah, completely
characters,
different, but
different ages.
But it works, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's very interesting. So, and that, I mean, it's also like now with Peter. I mean, now an older guy is coming back. Also, now two old guys in this band. Horrible. But anyway, but you know, music-wise, I think that will be also now a different. How you can say it? Another level will be happened with Peter, you know. I mean, I know that. I mean, that will be also something that he had so many ideas. He is already like, wow, yeah, next album, blah, blah, blah. You know, and that is also like, that keeps you going, you know. And that's, in a way, already looking forward, you know. I mean, we're already talking about the next album, but I mean, I think also he likes really much, very much this album. When he was playing the bass, you know, it's like, wow, this is something, you know, I really would love to do, and he's already into it.
And he also said that was a cool thing. I think when he recorded Touchdown, he called and said, "Are you fucking crazy? What kind of song did you put together?" Because, I mean, he was an Accept for so long, and it was the same over and over and over again. Sorry. So when he recorded that song, he was like, oh, that's actually something very new and interesting for me as a bass player as well. So it was kind of a challenge for him to, because it's a very fast and complicated song. What we figured afterwards, when we wrote, it's like, what's going on? So and then we got the call from Peter. It's like, are you fucking crazy? What did you put together there? And that was also kind of cool, because he grabbed the vibe from this album, you know, and said, I have so many ideas already for the next one, which is so cool to hear, because, you know, like, he thinks about that stuff already. And even though we might not start to write within the next 2 years or whatever, who knows, but he already is putting his mind into that mindset that we have, and that's really cool to experience. So yeah, I think we catched him with this vibe of that album as well.
You talked a lot about your ages. I recently done the interview of Sabina Classen from Holy Moses that will be retiring this year,
Right.
and she's younger than you. With all the respect I have for you, how do you react when you see people telling that they won't die on stage, and that those people are younger than you? And do you even think about retreat sometimes in the day or never?
You want to retire? Do you want to retire?
Yeah, maybe 10 years or whatever, I have no idea. No, I mean...
Is he allowed to retire?
Is he allowed to retire?
I don't know, I mean, for me, like saying this, the first thing is, I still have fun to do it. That's the most important thing. The second one is, my voice is working still.
Yeah.
And of course, you never know what's coming up with your health. That it's nobody can tell you that. But as long all these three things are working, it's better to sit home and drink coffee. You know. I mean, I like to be on tour. I like to create new music, and yeah, it's fun for me still. You know, and it's. The most horrible thing was like Corona stuff.
Yeah,
It was
sure.
like, oh, come on, this is like when you retire, you know, come on, no. No, I mean, I don't know, I mean, we will see. Maybe one day, definitely, I will stop. But at the moment, there is no plans, definitely not. Right?
20 years, man.
Keep going.
Talking about Corona, you know, I know it seems horrible with Corona, but do you think you'd have written or delivered the album that you have done if Corona hadn't have happened?
That's a good question, actually, because I think it definitely wouldn't have turned out that aggressive in the end.
But it's not on Corona only, you know.
I know, but
So
you know, there's been so many things
so many
happening.
things,
I mean, we
yeah.
went like literally, we went
you
through.
can read all the titles,
Exactly.
for example. That's Corona.
That's
That's
Corona.
your situation.
I went through a
Next one.
flood, so I lost like half of my house. You know,
Yeah,
it was
that's which is the
vanished.
second song,
And
basically.
then he was stuck in the fucking war. And
3
we
weeks.
went through so many things during that time that it was, I mean, I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
It's crazy to talk about it, but there was so much shit that we went through that we had
personally,
to
like every one of us,
exactly
yeah.
that we had to put out, you know, and just
I mean,
have like a ventile that you open it,
also
just
for me,
let it go, you know. It's like fuck.
Also for me, it was like a thing, you know, when he's stuck in Ukraine, you know. So that was the thing of how we get him out there. There was, I mean.
Yeah, first was Sven's situation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He was trapped in his house and he couldn't get
Yeah,
out for a couple of days. And the second song is about that. So the first song is about Corona, obviously, right?
Yeah.
The second song about the Sven situation.
Yeah, but I mean, be honest. I mean, I don't want to. But for me, you know, Andrey is in the meanwhile a very important person also for me, you know. And when we are doing this for so long time, and then have this fucking situation there, you know, with the fucking war, and I was like, whoa, what has happened when he never can go out there, you know, have a look for a new guitar player, you know, looking for new guitar players with UDO was always a nightmare for me, you know. It's like, but that is like, you know, there was so strange situation happened, you know. There was like, and then on the end, okay, we are lucky.
No, it was just like a, you know, at some point we were just sitting there and said, why doesn't it just stop? Why doesn't it just stop?
Like,
because
you know,
it was just like one
coming,
thing,
yeah,
and then the other thing, and then the other thing, and then the other thing, and we were like, just stop, you know, just stop, like throwing that fucking stones on us, because like, you know, when I went through that situation, it was super fucked up, and I couldn't work because I lost all my gear, I lost all my studio and shit like that, so we had to improvise in this case, and then Andrey's situation came up, and we were like, okay, so how should we work now, and how do we get him out of that fucking country? We need to get him out of that fucking stupid situation. and then that was really frustrating at this point. But I think in the end, that's the product that we put together in this one, because yeah, as you say, I mean, it's quite aggressive. It's
Also, it's a funny thing, you know, I don't know, maybe, I think you can say that, right? Like, we were recording that, at least for the demos, you know, like, I came out from my home in Ukraine with just a laptop and like one guitar out of, I don't know, 20 something, you know, no amplifiers, no cables, no nothing. So basically I had like one guitar with me and laptop, and we needed to record the album, and Sven had his studio like completely fucked up, you know, everything he needed to build like from scratch, you know, basically, right? And we were like, okay, we need to make a new record, and actually we started from that, you know.
Yeah.
So just one guitar. I had no studio. For example, I used to have like, I don't know, 2 monitors, you know, like the cool room, you know, with all the isolation and stuff, you know, a couple of amplifiers ready to go. And he had the same situation with drum kit, but it was nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And we started from basically like as a kind of garage band, right? Yeah, basically like that. And of course, in the end, it was proper recording and stuff like that. But actually, it made us kind of inspired even more, you know, because I was like, oh, fuck it, you know, like, all right, I have just one guitar, but I'm gonna kill it, you know, with this one. I don't need any more, anything else.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And I remember Udo was singing, like sitting in your house, right? Like having this, right?
Yeah, I needed to protect my neighbors.
Yeah.
It's like, so you have these small ISO caps,
the
whole things, you know, like that. There's like an ISO cap that you can buy,
the singing,
but that's basically just covering your head. So it's like an ISO shield that you put around his head.
Yeah, basically you're sitting in a room and
exactly,
having this kind of isolation.
Before that, we had a proper cabin he could go to with a monitor and blah blah.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, here's what you have. You know, you have that ISO fucking shield. You get fucking paranoid in it. And then you have an iPad where I show you what to sing. And then he was going in there, going, "You're fucking sure?" It's like, yeah, I'm sure, do it, you know. And then he was singing like there's no tomorrow. So it was improvised,
That's rock and roll.
you know, but that's rock and roll, and that's
Yeah.
how we put this album together.
I think what the whole composing and recording situation on this album
It was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I mean, in the end, from my point of view, it's like I'm super proud of this band that we still, you know, because other bands, like, they would have said, oh, we're gonna postpone the album, you know, just fuck it. We're gonna take our time off, 9 months, no problem, you know. And everyone just said, no, we want to do it. Let's write music because that's the right time to write the music, and that's the product.
So even with the problems, you continued on path. You
Exactly.
stayed on track.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but we are talking about the problems, like, for example, we literally had no place to live, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, with kids, we were trapped, like, I came up, like, I brought my family from Ukraine, even though I'm a Russian guy, you know? I have my kids. Sven had to rebuild the whole house again, you know? It was kind of, you know, in this case, you don't really think about music, right? If you have this situation. But we were like, okay, we just need to go for that, because we just still like to play.
And that's what keeps us alive, you know.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
And also, our, I guess our wives were kind of really saying that,
Supportive,
supporting that.
Yeah.
You know, just go, you know, do that, because that's the stuff that makes you happy, you know. Yeah, it's kind of a really personal record, I would say.
in a way you can say,
Yes. I know in heavy metal, like music, you always see all these strong titles and people singing about something and blah blah blah. But I can tell you guys, it's all that we lived kind of through that, you know, stuff. Seriously, I swear. This time we did.
Yeah.
Won't you say it's a reminder?
Yeah, exactly. Stays forever, right?
Talking about ages again, because it's first of all, I think that what we miss the most from heavy metal music today are not the good albums, well written, with good production and a great technique, but what we miss the more
what we miss the most is power to surprise people. And I think that with the news of Peter coming with you on the band, everybody could have expected a Back to the Roots album, you know, in the vein of early Accept or early Udo. And but you know, and this hasn't happened, of course, and that's surprising. But it surprises me until a certain point, because when you started, you know, singing and writing music, you know, you have basically seen heavy metal that was, you know, taking place for the first time, you know. Before it was called hard rock, even before rock and roll. And it's not a surprise for me that these guys are saying that you are quite open-minded, because you have seen the whole process, you know, since the beginning.
Yeah, can I say it just again? You know, that is very important. That I think you have to be open-minded in music, and then you can create something. You know, if you go like this way, always like, and then let's say, can be boring after a while. You know, no, for me it's like you know, it's refreshing everything. You know, and I don't know what we're doing on the next album. You know, we will see. I mean, it's some people they ask me, oh, I still definitely have some songs left. No,
Well,
I mean
right.
that yeah, of course we have some riffs left and this, but if they are not on this album, then there was something wrong. And they say, thank you very much, bye-bye, start with new stuff, you know. And then, I don't know, I mean, and I think that it's more interesting to say, oh, come on, we have some stuff left, maybe we can use this and this and this. No, forget it. There was something
I
wrong.
guess Udo is right. We always start from zero, basically.
Yeah.
Like on a new record, we just, okay, what we're gonna do? And then it starts.
And it's also like, you know, every time you are in a different mood.
Yeah.
When you start with a new album, you know, I don't know, maybe something can happen like this. This one was with a lot of things around us. And I don't know, maybe the next time everybody's like, wow, really happy, you know. And
Exactly.
Make,
Hopefully next time there's nothing at reggae record.
yeah, but you never know. I mean, it's like what kind of mood. Maybe you're in a good mood, and then maybe I don't know. You know, it's also very interesting to catch the moment. You know, when you do a new album, and I think that keeps the whole thing interesting. You know, so that's I don't know. Maybe then you get a ballad.
Or maybe at the bonus track of this album.
Exactly. There is no doubt. Not at all.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that I think music is something that also reflects your emotions.
Yeah.
And if you have the chance to do this, you know, you reflect emotions into the music, I think that's the best thing that you can do, you know. And I think also the people, the listeners, I think also especially the heavy metal audience, but they have a feeling for this, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, true.
that's and I think that's a good thing. It's not like pop music, you know. You do one hit and then bye bye.
Disappear.
Yeah, and disappear. Next one. No, I think this audience, they see or they feel that you do something, you know, with emotion or something like that. And that's a good thing, you know. I mean, how long I've been in this business? I don't know, 50 years or whatever, or something. And still I'm there, you know. I didn't expect when I started with the whole thing that I'm still now sitting here and talking about what is next album. It's like, then you did something, you know. You was creating something, but the people said yes, you know, and that means, I mean, still the old bands are there, you know, like Iron Maiden, Halloween, Metallica, and what, I don't know. Yeah, it's, you know, they're still doing something, and okay, they get less. But that means we all guys always that we did something in this business, you know. So and yeah, and in a way I can say that makes me also proud, you know, that I'm still here, can do this in my age. So perfect. Yeah.
Sorry guys, it should be the last question.
That was the last word.
Sorry. So, who is the last one? Me. Again. And the other guy that they don't
Everybody's shy.
socks.
Everybody happy?
Just one more quick one actually then. When are you guys going to break the news to him that you're playing the new album from start to finish for the next week?
Yeah, we can do
That
that.
would
Why
be
not?
cool, yeah.
Why not?
Why not? That would be a good idea.
No, actually, we are the band. Actually, one of these bands, one of those bands, who changing set list kind of
Constantly,
drastically,
yeah.
constantly. Seriously, like if
But it's
we're
gonna be his Christmas present. Then.
Yeah. Now seriously, check it out. Like on this like website, if you have a chance to compare the set list, we always changing something. Even for me, it gets crazy. I guess I know the whole discography already. You know, like I don't know how many songs. I mean, we always changing shit. You know, like I mean.
Yeah, but I mean that is like also a nightmare, you know. If you are I don't know 19 UDO albums or whatever, 19,
Yeah.
to create a set list, you know.
And we always want to play new stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Last time we played how many? Like 8 new
5 or
songs.
6.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you know, the people
think,
the people that are coming to the concerts, you have so many classic songs already, also with UDO, you know. They want to hear that. So, and this is really a nightmare. Then you say, okay, we have, but also we want to play some new stuff, you know. It's like, and then also people asking, can you play some extended songs? You know, it's not so easy. I think we stopped making albums, make the life easier. Yeah, but I mean, this is the biggest nightmare, believe me, making up.
Yeah, to put the set list together.
This is
Because
like,
we all come up with some different things, and it's like, alright. But once we should discuss that.
yeah, but anyway, I mean, you cannot satisfy everybody.
No,
You know?
that's
I
right.
mean, this is not possible. It's
But to be honest, I must agree. Touchdown is one of the albums where I would say we could play it in
Exactly. The
its
whole
eternity.
thing. Yes.
And
I
it
would
would,
like to see a set loaded with.
yeah,
you know,
and it
sets.
wouldn't disturb like you know the classic UDO set list that we play always.
So we have basically like 7 songs left, right? It's really easy to choose.
yeah, not so easy, but
No
Yeah.
fast as a shark, okay.
No fast as a shark. That's right.
no.
He doesn't need it.
Nothing UDO.
We're in the touchdown.
That's a good thing. We can do Dirkschneider, and we can do UDO. You know, that's just.
I was just kidding. I was kidding. I promise.
Yeah.
And more short
Okay.
questions for the band or?
Yeah, over the years, do you have an idea about how many songs you've wrote or collaborated on?
Approximately.
200, 300?
No, it's more, I guess.
More. I mean, let's say 19 albums with UDO. It's already, let's say, 190 or maybe 200, 210. And then 10 accept albums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus all the collaborations.
Yeah, and all the.
I guess around
Lot of
400,
stuff.
right?
400 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. You want to keep it? Hey guys, we are UDO and we are announcing our new album Touchdown, which is going to be released by Atomic Fire Records on August 25th.
Yes.
So you better check it out.
Thank you.
Okay.